Perfect. Hey, welcome to the barn, live from the barn studio. You got the Mox here, like always. Joined with a couple special guests in the house tonight. What's up, fellas?
What's up, man? Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Got to shout out Dustin Diggs for connecting us. We have JC on set and Jon from Artist United.
Yep.
Love Dustin Diggs. Dustin has come down to our studio, and actually, I didn't tell you guys this off air. We're getting ready to go up to his for the first time on Friday.
Ooh, wow. This Friday coming up?
This Friday coming up.
Yeah, congratulations. Fire. That's a big step for everybody.
Yeah, we got connected with those guys several months ago, and I love what those guys and you guys do. And then JC, you just come into town for like a couple days and you're going like hard in the paint, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Tell us about this little, what we call this, like a mini tour, right?
It is. It's my first mini tour with my best friend. God bless us both. And we've done nine so far.
This is 10.
Oh, this is 10.
This is 10.
Been so much I almost forgot.
Is this the last one, or we got more tomorrow? Or
You're the hottest one. This is it. This is the last one. This is the finale.
Man, and I do appreciate that you guys come a long way to come down here to the studio. We're happy and lucky to have you in studio. I think the world of Dustin. And we talked about it off air that you guys do as well. Let's talk about that guy for a second, can we?
Love that guy, dude. He's a huge blessing. He brought us together.
Yeah.
You know, here I am thinking I'm managing this guy, but really the reality of it is Dustin works magic, man. He works mysteriously, kind of like God does. You know what I mean? Like, I've only known Jeremy here from on the internet, and I've only known him through Matt. Matt hooked us up, linked us, gave us a project to work on together, but without telling us really about each other. So we kind of had to genuinely meet each other. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how Matt works, or Dustin Diggs. That's kind of how he works, you know, and he digs. He really does. And he figures you out, and then he brings you together. And that's what he's did with this core group with the Artist United Network. Is they're all my family. They're all my brothers and sisters. Growing up without one, you know what I mean?
Growing up with one.
You know, growing up with the bare minimum of what family value is, he brought that into our life in a way that is just, he's amazing. I love that guy.
What I like about it, one, the United part in the title, right? Because I do get that sense from him and the network in general. And that's why I'm a big supporter of it. I love what you guys are doing, because it's easy to, when you're creative types and you sort of live in the same universe or same existence as others, it's easy to get jealous or envious.
There's none of that.
Or some of that. And with him, from the moment he walked in the door, me and him hit it off. I love what he's doing. I think he stays pretty in tune to what we're doing, and it's exciting to have a collaborative sort of relationship with somebody that knows the world that we're in.
Right.
And you guys feel that too, I imagine.
Yeah, he's leading. He is leading out there in our area. Like he's a titled therapist, an untitled mentor, an untitled guide for us adults. You know what I mean? And like he is amazing.
He is.
He really is.
And that goes to show the motto that we rise by lifting others.
Yeah,
it's such a beautiful thing.
That knowledge came to me from the experience with him. Is the we rise by lifting others, you know.
You just had me thinking, you guys are both originally St. Louis guys. I know you live in Washington now, but you were originally from St. Louis, I believe?
I was born in Nebraska, but moved to St. Louis when I got out of Job Corps.
So do you guys know Tony from Beyond FM? He runs out of Pops.
I'm familiar with Beyond FM, and I've met Tony before at some of the casting calls that Matt put together or Dustin Diggs put together. I met everybody I know on my friends list that I consider real friends. He introduced me to.
Right.
Yeah, and
that's powerful, you know what I mean? And I've knew a lot of people, you know.
Yeah, and I just bring him up because I think what Tony does with Beyond FM is similar to, you know, he feels very team oriented. Yeah. He wants to see everybody do well, and he's very committed to the local scene.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
And that's important to us as well. Now we do some national stuff as well, and that's always fun when you get the big name and you have conversations with some really creative types that have interesting stories. But community is important to us as well, and I know what it is to Matt or Dustin.
Yeah, I know it's hard because he's created such an amazing character with his podcast, and we know him on such a personal level to kind of like keep his Batman disguise. You know what I mean? But he's phenomenal. Like God put him in my life, and he is doing the work. He is obedient, and I don't know if he even knows how obedient he is, but his heart is so big, and his wife Shemaine,
she's just amazing too.
Yes, oh my gosh, so you couldn't find, well, I haven't yet found anybody that I can trust more than them, and I love them to death. I hope that they have the greatest Christmas ever. Seriously, you know what I mean? They deserve it.
And you guys are festive right now. We got the green tint with the red going on.
Yeah.
My red hat on, right?
We brought you some gifts.
You did.
Yeah.
You did. I
Santa
appreciate
Claus
that.
hooked you up, man.
I did. You did. I appreciate that. We'll get into that later. And again, happy to have you guys here and excited to have this conversation. How did the connection happen? JC, I'll ask you, because your story is a little bit different because you're not local, but you're a part of the network. Tell us a little bit how that connection happened and specifically maybe some of the things that you're involved in.
Man, it's a big question here. I'm put right on the spot.
Yes.
We met through Artist United, and he's in the music as well as I am. And I worked in the community, help promote independent artists. And when I first met the core, I met you, and it drew inspiration, from the belief of we rise by lifting others, and that changed my perspective, because I was going through a really hard time. My father passed away 2023, in the same year my mom, 2 months apart, and he did his holy, and to speed things up, because it's important that message gets clear through the holidays and what we're doing here and what brings us together. Yeah. So, and it's really
Holy was a song.
Yeah, Holy was a song. Yeah, it was, and it meant a lot because I was going through a lot in my life, and it just made me realize what so much good is out there, and he has a similar story to mine. He grew up with no family. I grew up with a family, and that's kind of like we really dug deep in that. So it's been 3 years since we know each other.
Yeah,
It's about 3 years since. Yeah,
a little over 3 years.
a little bit over 3 years.
Yeah.
So with the music and all the cool stuff the Core's doing, and the mission, and just what God's been putting in our life, it's just
And promoting the heck out of Artists United Network.
and that's kind of we met through promotion essentially too. So
And we talked about it off air, is like some of the stuff that we do here has a healing effect to it. Being creative, it fires synapses in our minds and in our brains and in our bodies, really, that it can have a healing effect. And some of what we do, we have a lot of fun, right? We have a lot of fun. We do a lot of silly stuff and again, get to talk to amazing people. But one of the driving forces behind it is that it feels good. It makes us feel good. It makes us feel, there's value in I'm a father. I know you mentioned your father as well, husband. There's a lot of value in my life anyway, but this is an extra little dose of it. I feel like I can sort of give back in a way, in community, like we talked about. So it sounds like you guys' story is similar to that.
Yeah, it's like I enjoy helping others because I feel like growing up, I didn't have that consistency in my life. I kind of fended for myself. The age of 7 till I was 21, I was in group homes and in foster homes, and there was just never no consistency for me, And through this time, I've just been going with the flow of things. And just up until recently, I got back involved in church, and it became a family for me as well. And I call them my family in Christ, and I've got aunts and uncles and even spiritual mothers there, and it's a super, super blessing. Shout out Silex Assembly of God. Y'all are amazing.
yes.
And
Here, let's hit him with this. Oh,
Yeah. Shout out Silex Assembly of God. Y'all are the best. And
there it is.
So they've really put me on track. They've been patient with me in my journey, and I've got to experience Jesus in a whole new level, and that's been my saving grace, honestly. I went viral last year because I was a attention seeker, man. I never had love growing up, so I wanted everybody to love me. So I was doing, the devil loved me, man, because I would do anything for attention. So I would put on this tutu, and I went viral as the Hood Fairy. Got like 20 million views. And, you know, Dustin Diggs helped with that too. You know what I mean? So, but I think that our growth actually has a lot to do with our past and the way that we have presented us. The reason why we help other people is because of our past. And, you know, yeah.
Is it a little bit of the pay it forward mentality? Because, you know, I feel that in a way. It's that somebody did something for me and I feel like I want to try to return that in the favor, not specifically maybe to that person, or something happened to me in my life, some kind of good or whatever it was, and I want other people to feel that as well.
Like something like my daddy. You're right. Yes, absolutely. You know, the kindness that Matt or Dustin Diggs has showed to us has definitely like opened, for me, I can speak for myself, has definitely opened up a new chapter, a new way of seeing other people and letting my guard down and giving people a chance to be in my life, you know, because after a while you don't want nobody there. You don't want to have to deal with, you know, a staff member quitting that you got close to. You don't want to have to deal with losing a social worker that you loved, or, you know, those were my family members essentially growing up, was people in and out of my life, you know, that I'll never see again, you know. So, when you get somebody in your life as an adult and you ain't got those restrictions on you no more, and they're as genuine as Dustin Diggs and Shemaine and Keenan and, you know,
Keenan
Shaw and, you know, Shane, all of them, I love them to death, you know, and and the ones I didn't even mention, you know, we had Giles the other night on a podcast and Ben, and I barely know those guys, but I love those guys, their genuineness, their realness, they'll show up for me. And I can't wait to show up for them. You know what I mean? So it's just having that. Yes, I want to do exactly what they're doing for me, for others. I want to pay it forward. I want to be their heroes in my book, you know? Right. So
do you think that authenticity comes across in the content that you guys produce?
Yeah. I mean, one of the biggest things that we're preaching is, and we believe in, is that comedy relief and just the whole core, like, of that, like, you know, so.
And we rise by lifting others.
Yeah.
You know? Sure. They showed that, you know, we're here because of them, you know what I mean? Yep. So, like, we came out of the box. We wouldn't leave the house. You know, I was a performer for a long time. The hidden stage is performing for performers, and it just got old, you know, and I got a lot of clout from it, and I got pretty popular. I got offered record deals and stuff like that, but God intervened, and he kept me from, you know, being in Diddy's parties and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the blessing is that he gave me something bigger than that, and that's been the Artist United Network, you know, and now you've even talked about this, your
BetterHelp.com.
Yeah. And I'm excited to look into that, you know, because we all need someone to talk to, you know, we all need, you know, we need an outside look sometimes, you know, on our lives, and we need to be able to take that somewhere, especially coming from our background. You know, that's important. That's something really important. And I'm excited. I'm going to look into that as soon as we get out of here. Actually, I'm going to go on their website and check in with them, you know, so.
Yeah, I have a therapist, so, and with the mental health, I've been able to, you know, we've been able to, like, recognize.
It helps.
Yeah, recognize our humility, recognize the people around us too as well, and overall the capabilities of what we can do. We're not just people on disability,
right,
and getting a check,
right,
you know, and it's definitely a tough subject when the people around you want you for business, but we're doing it for just because
the love of it,
and
you know?
to help us fill that void on,
you
know, with the power. Yeah, that power, man, will be overwhelming sometimes.
I once heard a lyric where, and I'm paraphrasing here, so don't get on the Googles and like correct me, right? But it said, I try to fill this empty hole with anything.
Yeah.
Right. And if you have an empty hole inside of you, whatever it is, and yours might be different from mine and whoever's, and maybe you don't have one. And if that's the case, kudos.
Yeah.
But that can be bad stuff. Yeah. Right. That can be drugs and addiction and all kinds of things. Right. You're trying to fill that emptiness inside of you, but it can also be good things.
Yes.
And I think we're living proof of that.
Yeah.
You know, the creativity things that we do, the things that we're involved in. Sure, it's a lot of fun, but it has that healing effect to it. And I think what you guys are saying is similar to that.
Yeah. My first void coming out of group homes when I was 21, I had no home playing, so I didn't have anybody. I was by myself. My best friend that I was hoping I'd age out and get to hang out with more. We talked about sitting in rocking chairs and having wives that we all lived together. He passed away in a car accident like months before I was released from the group home. So I was in a downward spiral when I got released, and I didn't get released with anything, you know. So I went left, you know. Sure. I got into drugs. I like the hard stuff. I did it all, you know. And by the grace of God, he took it from me, you know. And I actually 4 months now, I quit smoking pot. It's legal. I had to wait for it to become legal. Now everybody can do it. I don't want to do it no more, you know.
Right.
But like I tried to quit for so long on my own. It was a void that was easy for me to fill. I'd start thinking about like, why me? And I'd just go hit a blunt and I'd be, all right, cool. Let me go make some music, chill. I can hang out with all these people and smoke weed with them and made a lot of friends that way. But until I quit smoking, like they're gone. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? God replaced them with the Artist United Network.
Absolutely. You know? I also quit too. So
it's a void that we're taking away. It is exactly that. So we were filling our void with, I'm not saying that what people are doing is wrong. That's not for me to judge. All sins, in my opinion, are equal according to the Bible. But I believe that for me, it wasn't, you know. Mm-hmm. It was taken away from me reaching the success and being obedient to God, because I was, who's going to take me serious if I show up, you know, I'm stoned telling them a vision I had. They're like, oh yeah, that wasn't no vision, bro. You had some really good stuff, you know.
Yeah, you had a vision, all right.
Yeah, right. You know, so I had to get rid of all that, and God took it from me. When I tried to get rid of it myself, I couldn't. I would be like, I'm fasting for a couple days, and then 3 days later, I would go all out because it was my cheat day.
Yeah.
You know, and next thing you know, I'm every single day. I don't need to fast no more. I did that for you, God. I'm good, you know. So I really had to really want it. God really had to take it from me, and he did. And for me, that was amazing. And it's now I got that void that he took that from, and I just filled it with him. I filled it with Jesus, man. And I'm being obedient. That's the thing. And I'm putting him at the tip of my tongue, because I don't want to be outside of his presence, because I've never felt more safe, more secure. And the things that have entered into my life, I owe all to him. I'm grateful for this podcast, man. This is such a blessing to be on your show. Like, this is a dream, you know what I mean? So, and I told Matt that the first time I met him. I don't say that often to people, you know, and rightfully so. Look at Dustin Diggs, you know, like, look at how far he's come, but he's also a helper, and he's just, you guys are great. What you guys do for people, that the people in the world that are watching these podcasts, they don't see. They see the entertainers come on here and they see us talking about our lives and what's going on in our lives and promoting our lives and stuff. But y'all be asking those questions that make us go home and think, and y'all are helping us. So it's just, before we even started the podcast, you had me thinking about some things, you know what I mean? We drove 2.5 hours here just to be on your show. You know what I mean? This is super big blessing for us to be here. So
yeah, appreciate that. Let's get into music. I know music is a big part of what you guys do. JC,
yeah.
What does music mean to you?
Amplification, most part. Management. Heart-filled. Filling that void. Oops, I did it again.
Where would your life be without it?
Wow. In my brother's basement, like I'm still in. But no, if I didn't have music, I think I would be a union painter. I went to Job Corps to be a union painter, and I was on disability. And everybody there was great. The training was great, and it was a government facility. You went for free. And I remember right before I graduated, everybody left to go to Hurricane Katrina to fix up. And one day it's hard. Left in the classroom all by myself, and I'm like, why am I there? And come to find out, oh, you're on disability, you're a liability. Yeah. So they paid for everybody to go, and they booked some holiday suites or whatever, and I just went home to Missouri.
Job Corps is like a group home too.
It is very strict. Yeah. Can't even spit on the grass.
Do they make you tuck your shirts in?
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
In a lot of group homes,
absolutely
they break you down like military.
That was pretty much what it was.
Yeah,
and there was a lot of good people, but also bad people. There was a lot of gang activity. There was a lot of drugs in there, and a lot of satanic things. People hurting people in certain ways, sexual assaults, and that wasn't talked about.
Yeah.
So
nobody wants that kind of attention on their facilities when that kind of stuff goes down.
Right. So
music for me, I wouldn't be sitting right here right now. I've had a lot of thought in my past, suicidal. I went through a lot of trauma in my life, and music has definitely pulled me through a lot of, I could turn on a tune and just hear the music and not even listen to the words and just hear the music, and I will get lost in my own tunes, and a lot of people will turn and say like, oh, I turned on Eminem, or I turned on, and I respect them. I don't even care what the music's about. Like I can respect what they're saying. I understand what they mean by music really pulled them out of their dark places in life and helped them cope. And, big artists for me was like Gospel Gangsters and, I listened to a lot of Dr. Dre back in the day. He was my guy, and I believe that, now I'm on a spiritual, musicianal path. Like I made a lot of nasty, foul music in my darkest times, just projecting, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people's music really puts them out there as who they are and what they think of themselves, you know what I mean? And before they're signed to the industry and have to like sing other people's music or whatever, however it works, I think a lot of it's projecting, and a lot of people can relate to their projections, and they just aren't confident enough to put it out there. And that's music is a way to relate, and not feel so alone. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, and I could say the same for me. I think it helps me express and understand some things that I'm not fully in tune with at times, right. Especially when I was younger. Maybe I get to enjoy it for different reasons now. But as a teenager, angsty as hell and pissed off at the world and wanting to punch people in the face.
Corn.
Heavy metal did it for me, man, because it sounded like how I felt.
Yes, right.
So it expressed something in me that I wasn't able to express. It helped me express something that was inside of me that I wasn't able to. Yeah. And that's where it probably even started before I was a teenager, but my love of music grew then. And man, it seems like it's as strong as ever. And now that we get to sort of showcase other people's talent and other people's music, that means a lot to me.
Yeah.
And I don't take that lightly. I know Dustin doesn't as well.
Right.
The artists that come on and perform at his place, at his studio, that he's able to showcase their talents.
Right.
I know it means a lot to him.
It does. It really does. He's, I got to do a lot of editing he's had like over 500 podcasts.
1,500.
Like, yeah.
In his house,
right. So we share a folder, a Google Drive folder that he sends us, specifically us, to edit on.
Oh, man, it's been amazing.
And so, like, there's a lot of the artists and stuff that are on there are super incredibly talented and, in fact, like, inspiring. you know? So like I enjoy editing the footage and meeting. That's how I meet a lot of new artists and stuff. You know, I have a recording studio at my house. I have a really nice recording studio, not just like the mic in the corner. Yeah. Like, you know, I got a really nice studio. I got a 5x5 booth that's like, you know, with a 5-foot window. 5x5 window is what I meant to say. A 5x5 window on my booth. You know, it's huge. I got. He's been out there. I got Beat Machines. I've got Phantom keyboards. You know, I've really taken on this as my passion. You know what I'm saying? So I've recorded a ton of artists. So when I was going through his podcast, he's had so many artists that have been in my studio, playing songs on his studio that I helped record. Yeah. You know, so it was just, it's been an honor to kind of be behind the scenes, working on some of these guys' stuff and meeting new talent and stuff through the network, you know? So I love music, man. It's one of the greatest things ever invented was a tune, you know? So whoever did that from the very beginning, I love you, caveman. You did it, dude.
Yeah. Banging those rocks together.
Bones and whatever, you know. Yeah. Good job, buddy.
JC, you've been in town for how many days now?
Since Sunday. So
Sunday. That's
4.
And today is Sunday. No. Wednesday. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4 days. What is this time in Missouri, back in Missouri? What's it meant to you?
Oh, wow. It's been an experience ever since I stepped back in town, to see what's changed overall in the music and the networking, to see, you know, what's going on at Pops, and just see my day ones. It's been like an incredible like anxiety rush almost. Like, can I go back, and is everyone going to accept me? Because I left before COVID. When COVID came around, people got sick, and I was like, I got to go back home. I want to see my family. So, and that's what we did. That's what I did was when I came in, I came back. I was like hitting everyone up to see who was there. I hit the promoters up. I'm like, who's there? And you know, the artists started hitting me back up, and the power of connection came back, and the power of just the overall message of what they believed has manifested and changed. And there are some that are here, and there's some that have gone. And I had a particular artist hit me up and say, I respect you. Heartfelt, and like, you're still doing it. I was like, where's everyone at? Like, most of them are gone. So what it really meant to me was, it was just a true desire and life-changing because of everything that's happened since COVID. So
what are you going to take back home with you? Dude, I'm asking, I don't know why I'm asking you the hard ones.
I'm going to take back the best person I am. The humility. Humility goes all the way. I'm going to take back the pictures, the love for God.
Amen.
Yeah, you know, people need it where I'm at, and inspiration. And it's the real testimony. Yeah, testimony documentaries. And actually, I love that because I'm working on a documentary for John here.
Us.
Oh, well, yeah, because the new
Rewire.
The Rewire.
That's it, right?
That's it.
Tour.
Yeah,
You're
Rewire
part of our
tour.
documentary right now.
Hey.
Yeah, it's important to see the real, authentic, and the stories behind it, and using, you know, it, and what Artists United brought me to, you know, just a focus and manifestation of what you can do when your times are tested.
Oh yeah.
So the film editing, the transitions, the 101s, the passing of times, and just molding it, the production from everyone, the music from everyone that's been submitting for the last 4 years, you know, and that's something that doesn't ever age, and bringing that love, you know, because when you die, you'll be loved.
Yeah. You can't take anything. He was asked on another podcast if you could pick love or loyalty, which would you pick? You could only pick one. And it's a tough question on the spot.
Yeah.
But when you get to thinking about it, like he did, he came straight home back, he stayed at my house that night because he stayed the extra night, and he started thinking about it. And he's just like, did I answer that right? And he changed his answer from loyalty to love, and and it makes so much sense, because, loyal, you could be loyal to the wrong people, you can be loyal to, just the wrong people, but without love attached to it, then you're not going to give them truth and honesty, and you're just being loyal to their standards. You know what I mean? Yeah. And again, when we die, we can't take nothing with us. So what is it to gain the whole world if you ain't got, God, So when we die, we try to, we lift each other up. We bring each other with us, so that's what we bring as our spirits, man. So. Yeah.
We're coming up on Christmas time. You got the festive gear on right here, right? And we set the vibe for green and red in here. Yeah. But sometimes the holidays aren't always as cheerful for some people as others.
Yeah.
Right. And I see that with my own work. It's different. I think when you have kids, you can see that excitement in their eyes, and that can fill up some of that cup. Yeah. But what comes after that is the new year.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's sort of a reset for people. And it's a little bit maybe more optimistic of this year's going to maybe be different than the last, or maybe the last couple.
Depression. Yeah.
Can be that too. Seasonal, right?
Yeah.
Seasonal.
What's 2025 look for you, Jon?
Oh my
gosh. What's it look like for you?
I got the keys to my church. I'm teaching the youth how to worship. I've changed my whole entire life to being obedient to God. Now, I'm not perfect. I'm a sinner. We're all sinners, right? But I'm looking into ministry. I'm looking into bringing, I would love to mentor, kids in group homes, and I would love to be somebody that they can look up to, and that I can, I want to go rescue somebody. You know what I mean? I want to bring people to find their peace and their joy. So 2025, I see this documentary hitting a massive scale because it's current topic, and we've got some really deep conversation and some really amazing podcasting and the Rewire tour. It's going to be a fire documentary, and it's about the foster care system and about group homes, about kids that never got adopted and kids that got adopted, and our headbutt and come into humility, through love, and passion for what we're doing. And so I see a big year ahead of us, and all that. Yeah, that's a lot of that's going to be in the documentary about, Christmases were horrible. Being the only kid in a group home, not getting any kind of Christmas presents. And it didn't even matter about the presents. Sometimes it did, but a lot of times it was more along the lines of, man, all these kids are going home to their families for the holidays. Families are coming to visit them. I'm the only kid that ain't. So I would act out. I would have behavioral problems like no other. And then they would document that, and who knew it would scar me in the rest of my life, And Thanksgivings and all those, every holiday, and just Christmas, it's every holiday, and birthdays, the group home would make me a cake or something, but there was times when I didn't even get a piece of my own cake because it wasn't big enough to feed everybody, so not everybody got no cake. And presents, we weren't allowed to have radios or stuff like that inside of our, our group homes, some of them, so I would go from one group home to the next group home with stuff that I owned at the last group home that I couldn't take with me to the next group home. So nothing mattered. There was no consistency. And the biggest kicker in it all, despite abuse or any of that kind of stuff, is the fact that in group homes, the staff they're not allowed to tell you that they love you, even if they love you or like you or anything, And so you grow up in those facilities without ever being hugged, without ever being loved, told that you're loved, and in your expectations, you don't feel that there's no family value there. So when you're out and you're released and you finally have a family, life is confusing, and it's a hard one to get through. And I keep on going back to God, but without him, you just can't survive, man. The suicide rate is humongous in the foster care system, and it's because of the displacement that we feel. And so when holidays come, depression comes, and because I have kids, it's a saving grace because I get to spoil them, and I get to, go out of my way to try to do, there's times when my kids might want something. My son's getting older and he wants his gifts. They're more expensive.
Sure.
You know, but he's so, his values are so good. Like, he's like, Dad, I want this, but I know that we're not like rich. I know you can't afford it. So I'm not going to, like, you know, I don't even want to tell you what it is, Dad. And that just makes me have more drive. I want to get it for him that much more.
Yeah.
You know, so we bought our family a side-by-side, you know.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say what other kind of gifts we got for Christmas or not, because he's most definitely going to watch his dad.
Can't tune into this.
Yeah. But, you know, like, God's been blessing us. Ever since I stepped into that scene, he's taken my depression. I mean, I can't say that I'm not a little depressed and I don't go to those thoughts sometimes, like, but now when I look back at my past, I see that it was all I was built tough so that I could be where I'm at right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think I bring up the holiday thing. One, we're in the midst of it, right? And it can be a fun time for a lot of people, and it can be a celebration, and the birthdays and all the things. And it's not trigger. But it can also remind us of what we don't have that maybe sometimes other people do have.
Yeah, speaking of which, we went up to make sure y'all donate to Toys for Tots. Like, they actually do give gifts to families or kids in hospitals or kids that are less fortunate. Yeah. There's organizations out there that really do. And that's really important to a kid. That I remember this one time I got a football and I didn't get to keep it when I moved out of the group home. And it was still cool though, because I was able to leave it with some of the friends that I made at the group home. Yeah. And I knew it was going to still get used and stuff like that. But I was the cool kid for once. I had a football. We could all go outside and play catch. Everybody wanted me to hang out with them. You know, I wasn't just looked at like, you know, yeah, well, I'm the last to get picked. I was the first because I had the football, and that was a gift I got from a group like Toys for Tots or something. When those blue bags would come in at some of those group homes for Christmas and stuff, I would, yes, thank you, and I'm not even knowing who they're coming from, you know. So make sure you're out there donating, because there's kids in hospitals, there's kids in group homes that have nothing and nobody, and it's not their fault that they're in there, and that is a blessing. That carries them through the holidays, bouncing a ball off the wall. You know what I mean? So,
are you guys going to be near a Toys for Tots like drop off place anytime soon?
Yeah, we just did. We just did. We ran in. We didn't have a lot of toys, but we gave them some cash.
Well, if I have some stuff to give to you guys, can you make sure it gets to wherever it needs to?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not a lot, but I'll give.
Yeah,
I got a few things that we could donate to.
For sure.
JC, I want to ask you the same thing. We'll probably wrap up on this. Enjoyed having you guys here. 2025. Does it look different from 2024, and in what way?
It has. It's looked a lot different. The love, the connection, the change with people around us, our families, our best friends. We sometimes overlook the best things in life, and we do what we can to help, to provide, to give thanks, and we love, and we show people that we can pursue those things. And it does look different for everyone. Everyone has a different perspective, and you know, the love really shows when you connect with those close people. And to be honest, you know, I'm working on that. You know, I'm working on showing people that I can do it, and showing God that the faith, you know, our faith is real, and that you have the power to do whatever it is, whatever you do. And being aware of those things are important, and how you change people and what you say really affects people. So giving really good spirit, showing that you can forgive, and you know that it's okay if someone messes up, and loving your family, keep it, because you never know, you know, what that other side, you know, can look like. That separation, those anxieties that you're going through, to have someone there that truly loves. Yeah.
Forgiveness for 2025. You are forgiven. We forgive you guys.
Yes.
We love you. And if you've watching this and you feel like you were part of anybody's trauma, especially mine or his, just know you're forgiven and you got a fresh start, man. If you feel any type of way, we forgive y'all. All of you. I mean, and I forgive, and I hope you can forgive me too, because I wasn't perfect and I was out there too. So forgiveness in 2025. Yes.
Forgiveness.
We want to shout out Dustin Diggs. We've talked about him a ton, right? His ego's getting big now.
He's good.
No, he never. That's the crazy thing. We could go on a jumbotron in the middle of a stadium and talk about him, and he'd be like so humble, like nah.
And I'm joking, obviously, but the Artist United Network, we think the world of it. Think the world of him and everybody there, Keenan and Samantha and all them and all you guys. I really enjoyed getting to know you tonight and having this conversation. Hopefully people take something away from it. And tell us where we can find you guys, more information about you guys, the socials and where you're active at.
You actually he put something in your gift bag that's
okay.
A link card that you can just tap to your phone, and it's got all his information right there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
But for me, it's on Facebook. It's www.facebook.com/Mr. Media Plug. And that's me. And I'm taking people on podcast tours. So I'd like to, that's how this actually started. This little journey right here started. We didn't really discover until we got here on this 2.5 hour drive that this Rewire tour was really about God rewiring our hearts and putting us in tune for the forgiveness of 2025. You know what I mean? And, so yeah, just you can link up there, or 636-383-0699, or you can contact Artist United Network directly. We're on their website. We have big old pictures and stuff on their websites, and there's some film work coming out. There's a television show that Matt's writing called Failures, and he's been on TV with it before, and he's about to bring that back out again. I don't know if I'm airing too much information, but we've been casted in that, so we're going to be on television, and that's going to be amazing too as well, coming up here in 2025. So there's a lot of cool stuff happening. You'll be able to reach us, and then slowly it's going to be harder to reach us. Hopefully that's how it works, but we'll be able to reach you, through these kind of networks, like through your network, and so stuff like that. But
and before I ask you, JC, can I interject here?
Yep.
You talk about the podcast tour, and we talk about 2025 and what that looks like. And I don't know what it looks like for us, but we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. We're going to be consistent with it, and we're going to be passionate about what we're doing. One of the goals I have for myself is to be more active on other podcasts, promoting what we're doing here and all the podcasts and the people that are associated with the barn. So I might need to hire you as a manager for you to take me on a podcast.
I would
tour.
love to. I would absolutely love to. Absolutely love to. So
and go around and show people, what we're about.
Absolutely. Well, I'm speaking a little in advance, but we're looking at trying to get some kind of like limo or some kind of special type of, podcast travel piece that we can like come pick you up, take you out for 3 days, and put you over 20 podcasts within those 3 days. Cause that's how I'm connected. I'm connected with like a lot of podcasting, and I owe that to Dustin Diggs too. Like, so like we will run you through all the podcasts. You talk about your business and your podcast, and get to know other podcasters in the process. And yeah, I can do that for you, man.
Let's make
That's
that
what
happen.
I've been doing. Yeah. That's what I've been doing since he's been here. So I love it. It's definitely a calling.
We'll have to talk about it off air. JC on set, give us your socials where we can find you.
Yeah, it's JC on set on Facebook. You can find me at Audio Revolt on TikTok. Grab those sounds, use those sounds. I'm going to be producing. I have over 150 short form audio tracks. Fire. Best quality. I had a lot of fun doing it in 2023,
and four.
And I've been doing it for so long, and it's just been a blessing to meet all the artists and things like that. So yeah, hit me up on those platforms.
Abnormal Sounds. This dude makes beats like he was in my studio and he was just clowning on he's never even used these machines before, and he just knows what he's doing. He's like nerd savvy, you know. He just kills it too, and he's trap beats, gospel, everything. Like I can't wait to go home and work on some of the beats he made at the studio. So
the Rewired Tour 2024, JC Onset and Jon from the Artist United Network. Fellas, thanks so much. Enjoyed this conversation. You're welcome back anytime. You know where we're at now, even though it's a long way away. You know where we're at.
Not too far for you, man.
Open door policy here. Really enjoyed the conversation, guys, and thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.